Hello and welcome to episode 238 of the 77 Club. Harry, start with the socials.
The Wolves 77 Club on Facebook and Instagram, at 77 Club Podcast on Twitter. Please subscribe. We beat Man City, so subscribe. I don't know why I said that. And yes, YouTube too. Spotify, YouTube.
Jack Williams is here.
Hello, everybody.
Harry, as you say, a fantastic win against Manchester City. We're, of course, going to open up with this from Pep.
With the Korean guy and
Great stuff from the still in my ear. Still great stuff from the Wolves admin there. We'll probably get banned on YouTube for showing the goal, but then it is what it is. Harry, I don't think we had much hope before the game, and certainly my Sky Bet and your Super 6 sort of reflected, I think, how people were feeling before the game, because I had back 7-1 to Man City, and obviously I had a cheeky one in there, supporting Wolves as well. But first off, were we slightly surprised by the starting 11? Obviously, he was forced into one change, but you know, at the end of the day, it did the job. Totti Gomez coming in and back to a back five.
Before I get onto the formation, I think we just owe Gary O'Neill a bit of an apology, because we have absolutely nailed him the last few weeks, calling him a PE teacher, etc., as Ian has pointed out in the comments.
He's a PEP teacher now.
Nobody in their right mind could have predicted that result. I don't care who you are, you're lying if you could, because I thought we would go to a back five. We discussed it, didn't we, in the preview last week? I think we all agreed we needed to, just because of how poor we've been, and it was our only hope, really, to do what we used to do under Nuno, is go to a back five, sit back, hit him on the break. And fair play to Gary O'Neill, because he did it. He had a game plan, and on the day, every single player was absolutely outstanding, and we needed to play out of our skin, and we needed Man City to have an off day and have a few of their key players missing, which they did in Rodri, De Bruyne, etc. But I'm just going to say well done to Gary O'Neill. You're a very highly qualified PE teacher now, I must admit, because that was a bit of a masterstroke, and I was buzzing for him because all Wolves fans have been giving him stick. And let's be honest, I think a lot of people wouldn't have been surprised if he'd have been walking. You know what I mean? After the Luton and Ipswich game. So, yeah, humble pie for all of us on this podcast. And it's a shame Bayliss in here, because I want to see if he'd still come a PE teacher. So I'm going to retract that statement and now call him a really good Premier League manager until we lose again.
Jack, Wolves are back five. Pedro Neto absolutely running the show. Is it 2019 again?
No, it's definitely not 2019 again. But, I mean, I was definitely probably more shocked with that result than I was when we got the results we got against Man City under Nuno, just because of the way everything's been. I mean, yeah, we are eating humble pie a little bit this week, because going back to the podcast last week, I think I said that it would be closer than we thought. We'd only lose 3-0 or something like that. And to come out like that, like I say, with the game plan, and everyone stuck to their jobs really well, just like Harry said then. And really, the really impressive thing was just the fact, I know City had a lot of the ball, particularly in the early stages, and that our first goal was an own goal, technically, despite some brilliant work from Neto. Is we limited the chances really, really well, didn't we? That's the shocking thing. I know there was the second half, the Dawson clearance off the line, which really probably set us up to go on and win the game. But I just absolutely shocked and just didn't see it coming. Delighted, obviously, that it happened in the end. But I was all gearing up for Gary O'Neill to probably be sacked this coming Monday after we lose to Villa on Sunday and get battered by Man City. And I just don't believe it, really, because it stuck to their guns really well, took the chances. And the really positive thing is the fact that I was there as soon as they scored that free kick and equalised. I think I put it in the group and said, we all know how this ends now. I thought it would be 3 or 4-1. And the way they responded, despite having a setback in that game, they didn't crumble. They went on and kept pressing, and managed to score that second goal, which was ultimately the winner. So fair play to absolutely everybody. Neto looks like he's come back, particularly this season. I was worried after he came back from injury, because he just didn't seem to be hitting the same heights, did he? Let's be honest. But this season, he's come back like he was before he was injured, and it's just it's a delight to see. And I just hope we can hold on to him now, because he's going to be absolutely crucial to us and where we finish this season ultimately. But just shocked and really pleased for everybody at the same time, because Gary O'Neill really needed that as well. That's won him over a few Wolves fans, and we're going to give him a bit more time now, which is what he really needed.
Absolutely. And Harry, Jack mentioned him there. I mean, we will get onto Pedro Neto, but I think it's the defence and more of a defence of what we expect and a performance that we expect from someone like Craig Dawson. A really, really integral touch to take it away from Haaland in that first half, because 9 times out of 10 he's putting that in the back of the net, and it was even high fives from Haaland after it happened when he sort of put it out for a corner to say, great tackle. So you mentioned it before. Lots of people, lots of players stepping up. The crowd was absolutely phenomenal. I said last week that it was going to be a weird atmosphere. It was toxic, but it was toxic towards one man. And that one person that I think made it all happen, it was Pep starting Nunes, and he got absolutely hammered. And I think we made the point as that the chance of the season, the chance of the decade, Matheus Nunes, your teeth are offside, has to be one of the best I've ever heard.
Yeah, it just got Molineux rocking, didn't it? That was the whole objective of the day. It felt at first was just to annihilate him, and every time he got the ball, the boos were ringing round. It's the best atmosphere at Molineux I can remember in a long time. It's the Nuno days, definitely. And the South Bank were immense, and he got pulled off at half time. He couldn't handle it. He just couldn't handle it, and it was I mean, obviously we set up really well, so we were frustrating them, and that was just the icing on the cake. Just to touch on Dawson, because you mentioned him. I said the other week, like, we need to look at dropping him, maybe. And again, humble pie. But the way we played, sitting that deep, that is his bread and butter. When he's just sat back that deep, when he's just man-marking a player, he's an old-school centre-half, and you're not going to see many centre-backs mark Haaland at the game for the rest of his career, and he did it. Like, he literally didn't give him a sniff. You mentioned that one where he nicked it away from his feet, but literally a 10 out of 10 performance from me from Dawson, and he was vital, along with many others, of why we managed to beat the best team in Europe. It was just an unreal performance from him. What a legend.
Jack, Pedro Neto, as you say, that had a fantastic game, really, really hitting those heights. If Bayliss was here, he would be the Eeyore of the group, saying that, he's doing this and now he's going to go to Arsenal in January. But Mark in the comment section has taken Bayliss' place this week for that. All well and good, Neto come in good now. But at what cost, Liverpool, Man City or Arsenal, does he go to? Well, look, I think he's tied down to the club till 2027. If a team comes in for him, it's going to have to be big money. Hopefully they've learnt lessons from previous seasons. And I think it's time that we gave a bit back rather than getting our pants pulled down like under Scott Sellers.
Well, yeah, it's all rumours at the moment, isn't it? And when he's such an integral part of basically pretty much every goal we've scored this season, he's played some part in. His assist level is just really, really high. The big teams will start sticking around, and you've seen it mainly just on social media. I think fueled a little bit by all the Arsenal rumours from last year, really, just adding to the fire now that as soon as it's come into form, it's going to be, Twitter journalism of big teams will be interested. But, I'm sure there is something in it, maybe not quite at this stage. I do think if it did happen, though, that Neto has a bit more about him, that he wouldn't do a Nunes on us. He wouldn't go on strike. He owes the club quite a lot. Obviously, we pulled him from relative obscurity at Lazio and made him into the player he is now that's attracting this sort of attention. So, I don't want to think about it yet. It's one that will come around in January, but either way, we need to make sure if players do start to depart again, that we have replacements, the price is right, and hopefully we have enough points on the board by then to be comfortable from any sort of relegation worries, because although obviously it was a really good result at the weekend, it's not been the best start to the season, but it's nice to actually have a performance which is like a full all-round performance rather than just having a 45 minutes or a 50 minutes where we say, oh, we were really good, but then drew or lost the game. So, it's time will tell, really, but let's not think about that now. Let's just enjoy the week.
Yeah, well, no, absolutely. It's kind of what you want, though, isn't it, Harry? You want those big teams because obviously it means that you're playing well, and that's sort of the whole point, isn't it?
Yeah, I get what you mean. Under Nuno, we always did well against the big teams, didn't we? But I just couldn't see it ever happening under Gary O'Neill, I must admit. But 5 at the back is just us, isn't it? It's what we are. It's what we've done well at in our Premier League era, particularly under Nuno, under Bruno Lage too. But like Jack touched on earlier, when they equalised, if you look at the examples we've got at the beginning of the season, we usually crumble. We usually just lose 4-1. So the fact that we didn't, and we scored not too soon after was incredible. And God, I mean, Semedo, Bayless's mate, how good was he as well? Like, I can't even pick a man of the match. There's about 4 or 5 contenders, which, as I said at the beginning, that's the way we had to be. And yeah, just unreal. And again, I want Molineux to be like that more often because it was a joy to watch. Obviously, beating the best club in the world, it is going to be a joy to watch. But it's been a while since I've enjoyed going to Molineux, I must admit. And Saturday was just a pleasure to be there.
What did you think of the in-game management, Jack? Because we absolutely gave it hammering last week, substitutions, etc.
You can't really fault anything, can you, about Saturday, really? Everything was absolutely spot on. Tactically, the way they broke up the play. It's good and you've done well when you usually get the whispers, particularly from either City fans on Twitter who start crying about it. Because what's happening now is when we were growing up, it was like Man United fans, wasn't it? They win so much they can't take it when they lose. And now the next generation, that's Man City fans. So they're like, oh well, you won't beat us at the Etihad, or oh well, we had 3 or 4 starting players out. These sorts of things. So you've done well then. And also in the post-match interviews, some of them were touching on, when a team doesn't want to play football, then blah 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 blah. What can you do? It's always going to be difficult. But we got it spot on. Everyone knows if you go and play Man City, who are the best team. Harry said in Europe, but probably in the world / ever of all time, let's be honest, then if you go and try and play football against them, you're going to lose and get battered. So you have to play with the cards you've got, really. So absolutely spot on. Tactical masterclass. Didn't see it coming, as we've said many times. But, got to give them real credit. And hopefully now it's something that we can really build upon. And we also need to mention, actually, while we're eating our humble pie, old Hwang popping up with a goal again. Like, where would we be without his goal so far this season? Because he's a player that's had a lot of stick, quite some of it justified, I think, particularly at times. But he's the only one of our team who can actually finish at the moment. So,
Jack, according to the salty Man City fans, he shouldn't have been on the pitch, should he? According to their commentator as well on their YouTube channel, he should have had a second yellow, apparently, but he shouldn't have been booked for the first bit. So, but yeah,
I think that's clutching straws.
Is he 1 goal off last year's top goal scorers already?
2, I think. Yeah, four goals in 7, which is just unheard of for a Wolves player. He's been incredible, and he seems to have really, really grown into that role that he's been given, Harry. And he is putting the ball in the back of the net. Huge shout out to Cunha for the layoff, because some strikers would have been selfish there, tried to take on the shot, but they made it look easy.
Yeah, we're right to obviously say Hwang, but all 3 of them, Cunha, Neto and Hwang. Neto's run for the first goal, obviously. Just the speed and the power on that was just unbelievable. Bit of luck, but we'll take it. But yeah, Cunha, he was incredible all game. All he didn't do was score, really. But to lay Hwang off the way he did was perfect. And the one person you want in that position, I know it's basically a tap-in, although Kyle Walker nearly stopped it. He got his head on it. It was just, that's the man you want there. Like at the moment, when he gets a chance, he's scoring it, Hwang. He's just in that type of form. He had that sort of form when he first joined on loan, if you remember. He just kept banging in the goals. And then now he's in a bit of a rich vein of form again, as when it's in the box, it's going to be in the net. And his interview after the game, I don't know if you saw it with Gemma, was brilliant. He's English. He's come on leaps and bounds. Like, he's just a really nice bloke. He was signing autographs for ages outside the ground after the game, and he's an absolute superstar already. And if he carries on, my God, he might do the impossible and get more than 10 goals for Wolves in the Premier
League. He did try his best to miss it though, didn't he? If you watch it back in slow motion, he hit it straight at Walker. Luckily, there was enough power in it that he was always gonna hopefully just at least ricochet in. And you mentioned Cunha there as well, man. He's just so frustrating. I can't decide whether he's brilliant or rubbish because it changes every week.
He was brilliant Saturday, Jack. He was brilliant.
I know. He has his moments, but it's just consistency in it with him. The next week he'll turn up and he'd be like he's not playing, and I just don't know what you do. It must be so frustrating for a manager to have someone who's got that much ability and can sometimes just look like, God, who's he playing for us? He should be playing for Prime Brazil. And then the next week, it's like he's just a passenger.
O'Neill singled him out in the press conference after and just said, like, defensively, he was massive because he kept stepping into midfield and I can't remember who's a midfield from now, but he was taking care of him as well. And then when he was on the break, he had to go up, so he worked his bloody socks off. So yeah, he's a bit of a dream if we could play that formation again because he helps defensively as well as helping the counter attack, obviously, and setting up goals.
That was part of the game plan, wasn't it? It was that everyone's going to be a defender at some point, particularly in big parts of this game where we haven't got the ball, and we're going to try and stop City just passing it round in midfield and round the back as much as possible and just intercept. And then when we do intercept, go. And, it just worked, didn't it? It just worked really, really well. Got it absolutely spot on. The back five, I think there was a question in the comment there. Do we stick with it for Villa? Yeah, because Villa are banging him in as well. So I think we've got him now.
Just on, sorry, Sam. Sorry to. Go on, carry on with that comment.
I was going to say, Many Fun Adventures, #VanLife said, first weekend in a long time that I haven't been left depressed. Completely agree. I watched Match of the Day for the first time in, I think it has to be years. Yeah. It's like, when it says, do you want to watch the beginning on iPlayer? Yes, I do. Skip to the Wolves bit. Yeah, do it again. I had a great time. On Saturday night.
It was a good analysis as well, wasn't it? It was a good. I think.
Yeah.
Well, they obviously concentrating on Dawson, keeping Haaland quiet. I thought it was a really good little piece they did. Obviously, it wasn't the longest analysis in the world, but very good. So, just on the in-games management, you mentioned it earlier. Mm-hmm. The one player that come on, Sam, and in my YouTube video when we were screaming at I was screaming at the camera after the game. We mentioned, I don't know why this was the only person we praised really, but we praised Babacar Traore because when he came on, I think it was for Gomez because Gomez was knackered. He was unbelievable when he came on. He relieved so much pressure. He was getting stuck in and again, correct substitution. Whereas in weeks gone by when he's brought Traore on, we've gone mad, but he needed him this time. I'd
forgotten about that because I remember I thinking the same thing. I was like, oh, here we go. He's done his Traore substitution, but yeah, he was brilliant. When he's just a complete opposite of what happened at Crystal Palace, because some of those interceptions were just match winning, and just a day where everybody played their part and everybody was completely knew their job and executed it exactly as was intended. Like, you couldn't ask for anything more really from any of them, and we just need to keep it going now. But I like, especially when City have won every game this season as well. Like, who would have thought that had come from anywhere? Like, we watch Wolves every week and we thought there was no chance. So who could have predicted that? And I just don't know.
Sarr was good too, wasn't he? I thought.
Yeah,
we've criticised him a lot. Like, as we say, everyone. But who's man of the match? I can't even pick it. I don't know about you lot. It's so hard to call.
I would say probably Dawson, but Semedo's got a shout as well. I know we've mentioned both of them already, really, but yeah.
Yeah, I thought, I mean, for me, I think it's Neto. Just it's so refreshing to have someone that exciting on the wing, but with the end product. It's chalk and cheese when you compare him to Adama Traore, for example, where it's all of the pomp and ceremony, but, the ball doesn't end up in the net, and, obviously an own goal, and you need a bit of a rub of the green sometimes, but I think he's just been phenomenal. So yeah, just an all-round fantastic performance. I guess we are going to move on to Villa, but I wanted to talk about VAR, but also the refereeing performance on Saturday I thought was fucking atrocious. I don't know what you thought of him, Harry. I just thought, terrible decision after terrible decision.
Yeah, it didn't feel great again, but I think what I will say is the City fans thought Hwang should have had 2 yellows, but you could have said the same for Ake for them, couldn't you? So luckily he was consistently bad. So, we didn't get done over by him. But yeah, it's just the same old story, isn't it? Every week, no referees. It's what you expect.
There was quite a few people who, because obviously just before they got that free kick, which they equalised from, Cunha was up the other end of the pitch and went down. That was one that in real time I thought that's definitely a foul, has it not been given? But watching it back, I don't think it was a foul. I think he actually got that right, to be fair, because I think Cunha was looking for it and did just jump to the floor, to be honest. So that's that's one that people would have been moaning out a lot if it had finished 1-1 or we'd lost the game potentially. But I think they probably did just about get that right, because I think he was just looking for it and there was 3 or 4 players around him at that time. So, yeah.
Yeah, completely agree. Let's play the VAR audio from a completely different game, which was the Spurs versus Liverpool game. Let's see if we can do that. Here we go.
Just shows out what we already know, doesn't it, this clip? Ridiculous.
Both holding. Yeah.
Leave it though.
Waiting, delaying.
Yes.
Give it. Coming back for the offside, mate.
Just checking the offside, delay. Give me kick point. Let's go.
Yep.
Kick point,
yeah,
please.
No,
so here we are.
Wait, okay.
Just get a tight angle.
Yeah, give me 2D line ready after as well for frame
Right,
2
so
after that. That's fine.
Frame 2 there.
Perfect.
I've got the time on this. I clocked
2D line on left boot.
Yep. Let me just
Romero,
switch
I think it
angle.
is.
I think it might be this angle better.
Hey,
Happy with this
Okay.
angle?
you
Yeah.
good eyes, you don't
Yep. 2D line on the boot.
2D line on the boot.
Yep. Okay.
Wait, no, wait.
So 2D line on the boot.
And
I'll
stop.
zoom
Check
in.
complete. Check complete. It's fine. Perfect.
Yeah. Off. Playing.
Thank you, mate.
Wait. On-field decision was offside. Are you happy with this?
Yeah.
Are you happy with this?
Offside
On-field,
decision, goal. Yeah.
That's
Now
not what it does.
on-field decision was offside. Are you happy with this image?
That's fine.
Yes, onside. The image we gave was onside.
Left back. He's played. He's
Yeah.
gone offside.
Delay. Ollie's saying to delay. Ollie's saying to delay.
Let's try.
Pardon?
Ollie's calling in to say delay the game. To complete the decision is onside.
Can't do anything.
Ollie's saying to delay.
Ollie?
Yeah, go on.
Delay the game. To delay the game. Stop the
Yeah,
game.
but they've restarted the
Nothing
game.
from on the field.
Can't do
Yeah,
anything.
they've restarted. Yeah.
Can't do anything.
No.
I can't do anything. I can't do anything.
Beep indeed. Harry, I think it confirms what we were talking about at the beginning of the season about the shambles that is VAR. We said, is it corruption? Is it complete and utter idiots running it? Incompetence? And I think it's the latter, isn't it? You've got to say that it's just, you can't believe it listening to that.
Yeah, complete incompetence. I mean, we've had it bad this season, but if I was a Liverpool fan, which they have been, I would be absolutely fuming. And I think the rule is, unless it's a handball or a penalty, they can't go back once they've done it. So they couldn't even change it literally 5 seconds after when it was a throw-in. You could see they wanted to, and then they just started swearing because they knew they'd made the biggest howler they've made to date. That is ridiculous. The fact that they got confused and they just thought, yeah, it's onside, but the referee was checking to see if it was offside. It's just comical. And I just can't believe it. Although it is a bit annoying because Liverpool fans are always, they're always moaning more than most. You know what I mean? But if that happened to Wolves, I think if that had happened to Wolves against Man City and we lost 2-1, I'd have just been like, yeah, fuck football. I give up. Sell my seat. That was the sort of thing that if that happened to Wolves, after what we've already had, I'd just been like, yeah, fuck the Premier League. Because that is just beyond ridiculous.
Jack, thoughts?
This clip obviously came out probably about half an hour before we came on air here, and I knew we were going to probably talk about this. And the thing is, given how we've heard a bit of the audio in recent weeks, thinking back to potentially our decision at Man United or the various other things where they've started releasing the audio, I was not surprised this happened because we said when we were listening to this is just a shambles. They're all shouting over each other. They don't know what's going on. There's too many voices there. There's not just one person talking. It's going to lead to mistakes, and that's exactly what's happened here. And the fact that this whole thing was obviously brought in to make sure things like this didn't happen. This is something that's really easy to say, okay, that's definitely onside, the goal should be given. And the fact that there's these 2/3 people sat there watching this game on a screen, and none of them know what the on-field decision was from the game that they're in charge of, to be able to go and say what the correct decision should be. It's just a shambles. And the question at the start then was, is it incompetence or is it corruption? I still think it's a little bit of both because there's lots of unconscious bias still in these rulings at the same time. But also this is just incompetence because they obviously weren't watching that game with the degree of concentration they should be, even though there are potentially 3 pairs of eyes on it. It's just an absolute shambles, really. And the way it's being implemented is just ridiculous. The fact they're all shouting over each other, as I said, means that there's going to be mistakes because nobody knows what's going on. Nobody knows who's talking to each other. But at the same time, the bureaucracy of it is stupid because people would have more respect for them if, when they realise they've made a mistake, even if they're not allowed to stop the game, they just stopped the game and just gave the goal because nothing had happened. Nothing happened in that space of time. Just get the decision right. But what they did then is they made a decision, okay, we've messed up, so we just got to go with it. We just got to go with it and not give the goal and take the fallout rather than just getting the decision correct, which is just stupid. And the other part of this is, remember the VAR in the World Cup for offsides, where it was basically automated, wasn't it? And it worked pretty well. The decisions were good. You eliminate the human error, you get rid of the morons. And they were offered that this season, and they said, nah, Would rather have the morons shouting over each other, please, and getting stuff wrong. It's like I don't get where the ego comes into it, and I just don't understand it really. I'm still of the opinion that just get rid of it for everything apart from automate the VARs, have the Hawkeye on the goal lines, and use it in extreme cases of mistaken identity, and that's it. Because you can't really get that wrong if you send off the wrong player or something like that. But I just not surprised. But now it's happened to Liverpool. There probably will be some changes made because no one was that bothered when we had a game against Liverpool where they gave our offside because the camera wasn't working and they couldn't be sure it was a goal, so we better just rule it out. Was that happened? Well, yeah, all this stuff that happens. It's like this is true. We're saying these things and it sounds like ridiculous, but we've got our stories. Every club in the league will have their own stories about how incompetent it is. Well, what's the point? What's the point? It just makes the game less enjoyable for everybody involved.
Do you think it should be like cricket, Harry, where you've got a certain number of challenges where if you really do feel like you're aggrieved, then you can go upstairs for as long as you need?
Yeah, I think that's good because managers have little monitors in front of them now, don't they? So, like Gary O'Neill, he's always on it. You always see him watching the clips, like that handball at Luton. He was straight over to the fourth official with the rules. So I think that would work way better. Like you say, get one or two ones where they have to really look at it and look again. And because if that was the rule, then Klopp could have been like, "No, look at that again, stop the play," and then the right decision would have been made. So maybe that is the way. Maybe.
Yeah, and the communication to say goal or no goal, I think that would have cleared it up as well. But complete lack of, as soon as you say things like "go with your decision," you need to be way more clear. But yeah, it's a complete farce.
Listening to that clip as well, the best thing was it's like, do these people understand football? Because he was like, "Oh, offside, yeah, offside, so goal." What? So it's offside, so it's a goal. It's like that's the level of confusion that's going on here. It's like, oh yeah, he's offside, so it's a goal. Like what? No, what?
Yeah.
And that we're honestly confused about that for a good 20 seconds.
The assistant one's going, "Are you?" He's like, "Are you happy with your decision?" Like he's saying to like the main VAR bloke, "Are you happy?" And the main VAR bloke, yeah. And then he clicks. He's like, "Oh shit, I can't do anything."
He doesn't realise the game has restarted, which he's watching. That's the level that we're at. Like he's supposed to be the eyes, the pair of eyes to get everything right here, and he doesn't realise that it's restarted.
Oh no, there's nothing I can do. I think he was probably waiting for Liverpool to score because they were on the attack, weren't they? And it would just saved his blushes somewhat. But my God, yeah, bloke's given a try and a conversion. Right, let's move on to Villa at home. Harry, Sunday this time. We love Sunday, don't we? Not. I guess you go unchanged. Bellegarde is obviously still suspended for this one. 5 at the back again, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. It worked a treat against City. I know they put 6 past Brighton, Villa, but it didn't tell the full story. If you look at the stats and things like that, they were just super clinical on the day. But if Villa come at us as aggressive as City did, which obviously is not going to be the same sort of thing, I think it'll work to our advantage just to hit them on the counter. Stick with it. Why not?
Jack, obviously Brighton
same
had a
team as well. I'd go with the exact same team, and hopefully we've had a good record.
Harry's dial-up internet's dropping out there.
Harry's
go on, carry on.
Isn't performing quite well this week. Obviously, Brighton have had a brilliant start to the season, Jack. Obviously, it's gone off the boil a little bit. Everyone was touting De Zerbi for the Real Madrid job potentially next season, and they're going to get absolutely spanked by Villa 6-1. Tails will be up. How do you think Gary O'Neill will approach this one? Because they are a different side to City, but they are free scoring.
I think it will be very similar. The fact that O'Neill might have found a formula now that works, I think he's got to stick to. I know Harry was breaking up then, but he said same team, and yeah, exactly the same team. Very similar game plan, not exactly the same, because obviously, although Villa are doing really well at the moment, they're not quite on City's level. But it's going to be a really difficult game because remember when we played Brighton earlier this season, we were shouting for them because last few seasons at Molyneux, they've been a brilliant side, and I was quite surprised by that Villa result, to be honest. Them putting 6 past them, I think that was a bit of an eye-opener and probably a bit of a statement of intent of how good Villa probably are this season and how much they've massively improved under Emery. So it's going to be a difficult one. The glimmer of hope I've got, I mean, if we'd have got battered by City, I would have thought this would be another L as well. But the fact we've shown that we can have a game plan, stick to it, and deliver results is promising. And we do have a good record against Villa. That said, I think it's going to be a very, very tough game, to be honest with you. And we'll just have to see how it goes, take it minute by minute. But we've already got more points this week than I thought we were going to. So, let's just take that for now. But hopefully we can get something, like you say, because our record is good, and they'll be coming here expecting to win. So hopefully that builds into the team talk, particularly when we've had quite sort of different starts to the season.
And Harry, obviously, the atmosphere at Molineux against City was mostly a lot of frustration and anger aimed at Nunes. That seemed to lift the crowd. Do you think that there's an element that there's going to be a little bit of that expectation creeping in? Because, we are so fickle as fans that, we're going to beat Man City and then the expectation goes through the roof again. And then maybe if we don't get off to a great start against Villa, then it dips a little bit. What do you think the atmosphere will be like on Saturday? And how would you sort of keep it a little bit more contained?
Yeah, well, I think the fact it's 2:00 on a Sunday does make a bit of a difference, unfortunately. It's not as raucous as if we play them on a Saturday. As you say, I hope we don't go into it expecting to win. We need that underdog mentality. That's when Molineux's at its best. But yeah, just got to get behind them. Hopefully we get an early goal, get the crowd going, because that usually works. But I said the other week, even before the City game, I felt like we'd win this game because we always seem to do well against Villa. We just do at home. So yeah, just hope the South Bank are on it, hope the whole ground are on it, and yeah, we just need something to cheer about and not go 1-0 down early or something like that, because that'll take the wind out of the fans.
Yeah. Are we hoping to see Sasha this time round, Jack? I think it's a bit of a weird one, isn't it? Because we're not seeing him appear in games. Fabio Silva's coming on. If he's not fit, I don't think he should be on the bench. But then I suppose there's a little bit of a case of we've got no strikers.
Not sure, really. Don't know, to be honest. Bit of a strange one, isn't it? Because he's not been seen much. Is he injured? Do you know? Is there something going on there, or is it still? No, nobody knows.
Well, he's on the bench, isn't he? I mean, you'd think unless he's carrying a knock potentially, then you're trying to see.
He didn't look fit at Ipswich, did he? After about 20 minutes, he looked like he struggled a bit. So might not be fully fit. Yeah,
might not be fully fit. Not sure. It's just a case of we have quite limited striker options, really. So it's a toss-up, really, between Fabio and Sasha, particularly if neither of them are starting, then only one of them's going to come on. But at the moment, our goal threat is Hwang and Neto in it. So those are the ones who've got to start. And if you don't have an out-and-out striker on the pitch because of it, then that's what you do. Right.
No, very, very interesting. Let's do a score prediction, Harry.
I'm going to go 2-2.
Jack?
2-0 Villa.
What?
I'm going to go for 2-1 Wolves. Harry, if you can get some bets, Jack has got your ticket news.
Just do the ticket news this week, lads. I unfortunately haven't got bets.
I haven't got any ticket news either. The website's the new website's so rubbish. I mean, nothing's changed since last week anyway, because we've just got information for the away games of Bournemouth and Sheffield United, and that's it really. Nothing else has been released in the last week. But it's such a pain trying to get on that new Ticketmaster thing, because it just blocks me and says, "Oh, can you identify all the lampposts, please?" Every 2 seconds.
Ball like those. Yeah.
So it's just a waste of time.
I'd assume we're slight underdogs against Villa, but I haven't looked. Yeah, so sorry. I can't go on my phone to look because my internet will drop out again.
That's a very good point. Something that we do have, though, is news about the seven-a-side charity game. So I'm going to pass you over to Harry, who's actually been at Molineux this week.
Yeah, so last night, actually, as we mentioned last week, seven-a-side charity game, 8 teams, 1 person from each team turned up last night. Dazzling Dave sorted it. Bit of a draw, and I suppose the news to come out of it is we're the opening game against Talking Wolves. We've got Wolf Whistle in our group, who have got ex-Wolves players playing potentially. Dave Edwards is being rumoured. David Jones, who used to play with Mick McCarthy as well. So should be fun, but as we said, all for a great cause. That's what we're doing at the Wolves Foundation. They're also doing a sleep out at Molineux, aren't they? And met one of the blokes there from the foundation, top bloke. They're happy it's going on. They're looking to make it a yearly thing. And yeah, I'll put a link in the description to this video again. So if you can put anything towards it, be much appreciated. And fair play to Dazzle. He sorted it all off his own back. Obviously, the club are now backing him, sorting out all the referees and insurance and all that. So should be fun, shouldn't it? Talking Wolves opening game. One bad thing is, though, I did find out they've got EAB skills on their team, and he is literally like a little wizard. So Someone have to mark him, else we're going to lose our opening game.
Just get Sam to take him out like he did in the last game we played immediately.
They don't teach tackling like that anymore.
So it sounds like we're in the group of death, guys, doesn't it?
Just a little bit, yeah. Is it top 2 go through, Harry?
I don't. Yeah, I think so. But I think even if you lose, you play. It's like you have like a losers playoff. Like you don't just go out and then you don't play. But we've got. Is it Wolfpack? The draw's been done. If you look on Always Wolves YouTube channel, the draw has been done, and then he's releasing a bit of a video where he's interviewed all the people about it. But yeah, Wolf Whistle would probably lose that. Talking Wolves could be fairly even. You know, apart from Ewan, EAB skills. I think the rest are as bad as us. And then I think, is it the Wolfpack, who I've got no idea what they're like or who they are. So should be interesting. But it's all for a good cause, apparently. We've got to play in good spirits.
Good point.
But obviously we won't.
I just want to get everybody in the comments. I want everybody to see this tackle. So I just want to see what everybody else thinks. Everyone else thinks this is a horror tackle. I think it's probably the best tackle that has ever been made. So let's just get this. Let's get this up.
GBH, if you ask me.
Look at this. Look at the pace. Great tackle. That's a great tackle. Let's see it again. We can see it again. Look at that. Timed to perfection. I think you will all agree.
I was stood on the sideline then. This is one of those where I saw it and just went, great tackle, because the ref was in earshot and he didn't give a foul for it. But watching it back, it looks like you might be a bit dodgy. But I think you got the ball.
100% got the ball, got the man, got everything.
I think between 1980 and 1998, it's a great tackle. After that, I think it's a yellow card, Sam, I must admit. But for people who are just listening, basically Sam flies in from the side, just get the ball a bit, but absolutely wipes out this 40-year-old bloke. And, you know, he does about 14 tumbles. But yeah, and, I was the same as Jack. I just screamed at the ref. Great tackle.
And they actually went on to score. So it was all in vain anyway. It was all in vain.
I didn't realise that.
Well, I was knackered by that point. Harry, I believe, has a quiz. And in his own words, it is the greatest quiz that has ever been written. So, Harry, I hope it lives up to expectations. We'll pass on to Mansell.
Probably not the greatest, but it's a bit different. All I will say as well, I was meant to be centre half next to you. I was meant to be centre half next to you for that tackle, and I was like nowhere to be seen. I was like on the halfway line, laid down. First of all, we've got to check. How's the internet?
Is it not too bad?
Okay.
Oh, no, yeah.
Okay, this week, because of Gary O'Neill becoming the best manager in the Premier League, the quiz theme is Wolves managers and its history. So, right, heads or tails, Jack?
Heads, Harry, please.
And it is heads. Do you want to go first or second?
I'll go first. Sam always goes first, so I'll go first, please.
Okay, so, as I say, question 1. Since 1877, there's only ever been one Spanish Wolves manager. Who was it?
Lopetegui.
Well done. Starting off nice and easy.
If I didn't get that one, then I'll tell you what.
Yeah, we'll go
quiz.
Sam.
Yeah.
Since 1877, there's only ever been one Irish manager. Who was it?
Okay, let's start off easy. All right.
Oh, God, if you'd have got that wrong, I'd have laughed my balls off.
Imagine.
Jack, a little bit harder.
Jack.
There's only ever been one Norwegian manager. Who was it?
Ståle Solbakken.
Well done.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
I love the way like you're being, because we've been so crap lately. You've made it like a really easy, patronising quiz this week.
Right.
What colour is a red fire truck?
Don't talk too early. Sam, there's only ever been one Italian manager. Who was it?
Italian.
Don't look at the comments.
Yeah, don't look at the comments.
I mean, it has to be recent, doesn't it? So, what was Zenga? Zenga?
Well done, yes.
Yeah, got there, yeah.
Right, gets a bit tougher now, Jack. Not too tough, because I could have gone very bad, but I haven't.
All right.
Or Martin W. got Zenga. There's only ever, in the history of Wolves, been 4 Welsh managers. The first one was a bloke called Ted Vizard in 1948. The other one was Rob Edwards for about 2 months in 2016. Who were the other two Welsh
I've
Wolves
got 'em.
managers in our history?
I've got them.
See, Welsh is a weird one because you don't know who's Welsh, really, do you?
Well, it's basically a
Um,
county.
Yeah. Welsh.
So much of an easy quiz.
Well, yeah, it's not easy now. I'm getting to
Don't look at the comments.
I'm not looking at the comments. I'm Mark McGee.
No, I got them straight away.
Oh,
right,
I
can you
reckon.
get
I
us-
reckon.
Should I know these? Dean Saunders.
Yeah,
actually.
Yeah.
The other one, I think, is
And-
Kenny Jackett. I think is the other one.
Kenny Jackett.
Kenny
Yeah.
Jackett Welsh, is he? Oh.
Yeah, he's
He
from
is.
Watford, but I think he played
Oh.
for Wales.
So Jack gets an incorrect question,
Wah, wah.
incorrect answer even on the easiest quiz he's ever done. Sam,
Nice.
in the history of Wolves, there's only ever been 4 Scottish managers. The first one was Andy Beattie in 1964 for a year. Second one was a bloke called Tom Docherty in 1984. Who were the other 2 Scottish managers in our history?
Well, that is Mark McGee, isn't it?
There's one. Can you get the other one for the points?
Mm, No.
You're going to kick yourself. You're going to kick
Am I?
yourself. Don't look at the comments.
No, I don't know.
It was Martin W's on fire. It is Paul Lambert.
Oh, yes.
So, luckily
Sam.
for you two, I have done a tiebreaker because that's all the questions normally. You both got 2 points each. So, what I'm going to do is, in the history, our whole history,
Mhm.
Sam and Jack, lock in your answers. Either write them down or just put it in your head and don't cheat. How many total Wolves managers has there been in our history? Sam and Jack, lock your answers in. Either write it down or just put it in your head. And then I'll ask Sam for his first. Lock it in,
No,
Jack.
we should-
Don't cheat. Don't go off what Sam says. Lock it in.
No, give me a minute to think, Harry. This is a lot of pressure. This.
Don't say it out loud. Sam, lock yours in.
Yeah, I got it locked in. I've written it down.
It's for the win. This is closest one to it wins.
Should we say it at the same time, Sam?
Yeah,
So
right.
no,
not
no.
cheating. What?
All right then. Go on then. 3,
We'll
2,
say
1.
25.
77.
So that's 25 and 77.
25?
Yeah.
Managers ever?
So
That's the question, right?
the correct answer is, which you two better be good at maths because it's going to be really close.
Oh,
Is
shit.
41. So who is closer?
That's definitely me.
Yeah, that is. Yeah.
Sam takes
seems
it.
low
Yeah,
to me.
41. A lot of
It was
them were
Major
English, as
Frank
you can
Buckley for
imagine.
about 30 years, wasn't it? So,
Okay.
Yeah,
You
that's
know.
what. I was surprised Rob Edwards was on there because he literally on the records. He said he was there for about 3 weeks.
well, there you go.
What do you
Live
think
and
of the
learn.
quiz?
Love that quiz. Love that.
That's
and I won it.
Very easy
So
though.
That was
I
the best
can
quiz ever.
I can say to all my friends who are here now that I've won the greatest quiz ever. Well, best of luck if you're going up to Molyneux at the weekend. Hopefully bring back another 3 points or just another great performance. We'll be very much looking forward to it. We'll say goodbye to Harry Mansell.
Yes, please donate to the foundation. Please subscribe. Cheers for listening, and I hope Bayliss enjoys skiing. See you, everyone.
It's a goodbye from Jack Williams.
Yeah, bye.
It's a goodbye from me. Goodbye.